Now on Fast Track News, yet another Boilermaker is etching their name among the stars.
We're also learning about the new additions for pickleball on campus, where Phase 1 of the Outdoor Master Plan has begun.
For the graduating seniors out there, learn why you need to order your grad regalia as soon as possible. All your campus news, weather, and sports is straight ahead. Fast Track is back. Happy Friday, Boilermakers. I'm Elizabeth Zerfus, and this is my twin.
I'm Riley List, and we totally did not plan to wear the same thing.
And I love it.
It's April 3rd. We're taking you through all your campus news, updates, and events this week.
We begin in outer space. That's where the Artemis II mission to the moon is underway. And playing a big part in the success of this mission is, no surprise, a Purdue alum. Fast Track reporter Bailey Burns is here in the studio to tell us all about it. Bailey?
That's right. Dr. Marie Henderson is serving as a Deputy Lunar Science Lead on this mission. More about her in a minute, but first, let me explain the Artemis II mission. Liftoff happened Wednesday evening, and the 4 astronauts on board are on their way to the moon, but they won't actually be landing on it. However, this mission will be the first time in 50 years that astronauts will return to the vicinity. And get this mission could also travel farther from Earth than any human ever has, which would break the Apollo program's distance record. 3 American astronauts and 1 Canadian are making this journey, which is scheduled for approximately 10 days. Now, back to this latest Boilermaker outer space connection. According to her NASA bio, Dr. Marie Henderson strives to prepare astronauts and robotic missions to explore and study volcanic deposits when they return to the moon. Dr. Henderson received her doctorate degree from Purdue's Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Science Department in 2021. Here's what one of her former professors had to say about the mission Henderson is working on.
Artemis II is the second launch in NASA's Artemis program to send humans back to the moon. Artemis II will be the first time humans have gone near the moon since the 1970s, which is really exciting. For this mission, they'll be orbiting the moon and then coming back to Earth. And that's really important because it'll demonstrate that the Space Launch System and the Orion spacecraft they'll be traveling in are safe and reliable and can get them to the moon for future landings.
So, Artemis II is effectively a test flight that could establish the groundwork for future missions. And on the next Artemis mission, Dr. Henderson will take on an even bigger role. She's listed as a science flight controller for Artemis III, and she'll be in the Mission Control Center. Boiler up, I'm Bailey Burns reporting in the studio. Back to you, Elizabeth and Riley.
As of yesterday, student government voting has officially ended. The uncontested presidential election means Kelby Roberts will be your student body president. Senate results for each college will be released 1 week from today on April 10th. Results will be posted on the Purdue Student Government website alongside PSG's social media accounts.
This past Tuesday, Purdue Student Government collaborated with Versity Blood Center of Indiana to host a blood drive. The event took place in the Kroc Leadership Center's lobby from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. and is part of a competition against Ohio State to see which university can collect the most blood. Versity states that someone in the United States is in need of blood every 3 seconds. Employee Trevor Ward shared why students should contribute.
So it allows them to get a little bit of experience under their belt, plus it allows them to feel like that they helped.
The winning school will receive an amount of money in the thousands. According to the Versity website, drives were organized by Purdue University Dance Marathon and ROTC on Wednesday. The 3rd annual blood battle against the Buckeyes continues until April 6th. There is still another blood drive on April 6th in Kroc from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. Ward said that students do not have to schedule an appointment but can walk in to donate.
Some special visitors are staying at Celery Bog this week. As spring returns, so do the birds that left for warmer weather in the fall. This includes the American white pelicans at Celery Bog. The large shorebirds are using the area as a stopover point during their long journey back to Canada. They can be seen swimming, perching, and fishing. To spot them, follow the marked hiking trails to the waters at the back of the park. The pelicans are predicted by eBird to stay in the area through April.
Up next, this casual sport invading campus is causing more complications than you might think.
Still to come, we're going inside a local fundraiser for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, meeting organizers and talking to participants about charitable impacts in our community.
What does it take to be a Purdue tour guide? You've got to know your history. You have to know your facts. You've got to have that Purdue spirit. And you have to walk backwards.
Welcome back to Fast Track. You might have heard about a certain paddle sport taking the country by storm in recent years.
Reporter Sydney Matthews walks us through how Purdue has responded to the craze of this up-and-coming sport, and more.
Pickleball has been a sport that has been exploding since the 2020 pandemic, and Purdue University is happy to welcome the new craze to campus with the addition of 18 new pickleball courts set to be completed in the fall of 2026. But that's not all. In March of 2026, Purdue Recreation and Wellness announced the renovation of their courts, increasing the number of pickleball courts from 12 to 18 total courts.
I've just always been excited for the opportunities that this is going to bring to campus. We're going to be able to host a lot more tournaments, events for students, bring in some colleges to come and play events here.
However, with the expansion of the pickleball courts, the amount of tennis courts has been cut almost in half. With completion of the new pickleball courts, there will be only 2 tennis courts remaining.
It's not very accessible. I personally already go off campus because only having two courts with a lot of players on campus is not easy. Especially like tennis can go for hours. So I already just go off campus anyways.
Even though some tennis players have been unhappy with the expansion, plenty of other groups have been seeing the good with the construction. Phase 2 of the expansion will focus on outdoor recreation opportunities while addressing field quality and capacity needs. Phase 2 will bring additional sand volleyball courts and the conversion of fields to synthetic turf. The second stage of construction will also bring new spaces for Purdue musical organizations to rehearse, specifically the All-American Marching Band.
We felt very fortunate to have that new drill field because the students were literally marching in the grass, and if it was a rainy fall semester, the marching lines would turn into mud and so forth. So we were very excited to have what we have now. But with that in mind, we knew that the future would hold a synthetic turf field for the All-American Marching Band because that would actually be the ideal surface for us.
Construction is set to continue through the fall. I'm Sydney Matthews reporting for Fast Track News.
Whether you're on the pickleball train or not, we will certainly be hearing a lot more about the impact this ever-growing game has on campus.
Graduating seniors, if you're behind on ordering your cap and gown, you still have time to rent at a discounted rate. Students receive a significantly lower rate only if you order by today, April 3rd. You can order your cap, gown, and other grad regalia in the My Purdue portal under your graduation checklist. If you can't get the discount tonight, the very last day to place an order is April 13th. Make sure you complete the entire graduation checklist to guarantee your grad process goes as planned.
Next, we're jumping into local philanthropy as reporter Emma Sharpley takes us inside the Black and Gold gyms.
I'm here at the Purdue Co-Rec Center where teams behind me are practicing for the basketball tournament Swishes for Wishes. This is a philanthropy event hosted by the Chi Omega sorority raising money for the foundation Make-A-Wish.
The Make-A-Wish Foundation is an organization dedicated to creating life-changing moments for children facing critical illnesses. This 3v3 tournament raises money for the program through team entry fees and donations.
My name is Nicole. I'm a sophomore in Chi Omega, and I am the philanthropy director. Members from our community make teams to raise money for this amazing foundation. It's so much fun, and it is our second philanthropy of the year.
My name is Anna. I'm a junior in Chi O, and my favorite thing about Swishes for Wishes is watching the games. It's such a good time, especially during basketball season, as such a huge basketball school, And it's just kind of fun to see the rivalries between each team and just be there in the present moment and have so much fun.
Combining competition with charity, this event brings Purdue students together for a fun and meaningful cause.
I'm Emma Sharpley reporting for Fast Track News. Back to you in the studio.
Donations to the Make-A-Wish Foundation can be made year-round, and Purdue students can donate through the Make-A-Wish website and select the Chi Omega sorority. After the break, Lindsay Peterson will take us through the upcoming weather forecast.
Hola from Spain. G'day, mates.
Buenos dias.
Bonjour.
Hello from South Korea.
I'm studying abroad in Valencia, Spain this semester. I'm studying abroad in Sydney, Australia.
I'm studying abroad in Madrid, Spain.
Studying at Seoul National University.
At Isaïe Supero in Toulouse, France.
And I'm really getting to enjoy meeting all the new people and the culture.
How different it is from Purdue University.
It is an absolutely fantastic experience.
I'm living my best life.
I can't wait to see you guys all overseas soon. A bientôt.
Adios.
Nos vemos de España.
Are you looking for a new hobby?
Or you want to have a fun evening with your friends?
Then come climb to new heights at the Co-Rec climbing wall.
Welcome back. If you're just now joining us, this is our headlines for today. We're going to have rain to end the day today and then throughout most of the day tomorrow. There's a chance of scattered thunderstorms possible. Doesn't look to be too severe, but throughout the day should be a lot of rain and maybe a little bit of thunder here and there. And of course, with the system moving through, the temperatures are going to start to dip a little bit. But once we get through the day, Saturday going into Sunday and the rest of the week, it looks to be cool and dry with temperatures starting to creep back up midweek. So taking a look just at today, or tomorrow, it is looking like there's going to be thunderstorms early on in the day and temperatures hovering in the mid-60s. As we get through the day, it's just going to stay a little bit rainy. It doesn't look to be severe, but it's just going to stay rainy throughout most of the day. And the temperatures are going to continuously dip down with the system moving through. So if we take a look at our futurecast, you can see this rain that's moving through Saturday, but then we dry out, and Sunday and going into Monday look to be pretty nice. So when we're looking at our 7-day outlook, today it's mostly cloudy with a high of 73 degrees. Saturday, it's looking like we'll have some thunderstorms potentially early on in the day. And then once that moves through, Sunday, Easter's looking to be pretty nice, but kind of cool. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are also going to be partly cloudy, but the temperatures are going to continue to dip a little bit. Wednesday, they're going to start to come back up ahead of our next rain chance. It looks to be Thursday. Now we're looking at the futurecast. We can see the radar all the way through our forecast period. So it's pretty dry over the weekend, and then going through the week, it's going to be pretty nice. And as we move toward the end of the week, you can see that the rain chances start to come back a little bit with another low pressure system moving through.
Just ahead, the end of Purdue's March Madness run.
And next, the Triathlon Club competes at the Nationals in Mississippi. I'm Jared White.
And I'm Ellie Jones. Don't go away. Sports is next. It has been a whirlwind week for Purdue men's basketball. The Boilermakers delivered one of the most dramatic finishes in recent tournament history, but then saw their season come to an end at the hands of one of the nation's top teams.
We've got the full recap, plus some exciting news for Boilermaker fans on and off the court. Sophie McLaughlin is reporting in studio. Let's get into it.
Thank you, guys.
With .7 seconds on the clock, Trey Kaufman-Renn tipped in a miss by Braden Smith to lift second-seeded Purdue past 11th-seeded Texas 79-77 in the Sweet 16. Kaufman-Renn was nearly perfect on the night, going 8 for 10 from the field on his way to 20 points while pulling down 8 rebounds. Braden Smith added 16 points and 5 assists, and the Boilermakers starting 5 combined for 75 of the team's 79 points, with all 5 starters finishing in double figures. The Magic unfortunately ran out 2 days later in San Jose. Top-seeded Arizona defeated Purdue 79-64 in the West Regional Final on Saturday night, ending the Boilermakers season with a final record of 30-9. Oscar Clough led the team with 14 points and 10 rebounds for his 9th double-double of the season. Smith chipped in 13 points and 7 assists in what turned out to be the final game of a legendary career. It's a tough way to go out, but the senior class leaves behind a legacy that will be talked about in West Lafayette for decades. The group of Smith, Kaufman-Renn, and Lawyer finished their 4-year run with 117 wins, a new school record, along with 4 Big Ten championships, a trip to the 2024 National Championship game, and a 10-4 all-time NCAA tournament record. The postseason recognition is already pouring in for Braden Smith. Smith has been named a Wooden Award All-American and one of 5 finalists for the prestigious award, joining players from Arkansas, Duke, BYU, and Michigan. It marks the 4th straight year Purdue has had a finalist, following Zach Edey's back-to-back wins in 2023 and 2024. He finished the year averaging 14.3 points, 8.8 assists, and 1.7 steals per game, and ended his career as the NCAA's all-time leader in career assists, breaking the record previously held by Duke's Bobby Hurley. He is the only player in NCAA history to finish with at least 1,500 points, 1,000 assists, and 500 rebounds. Braden Smith, one of a kind. Fletcher Lawyer will also wear the Boilermaker jersey one last time. He is competing in the State Farm 3-point championship this evening at 7 p.m. in Hinkle Fieldhouse. So, what's to come for Purdue basketball next season? Redshirt freshman Antoine West is one of the most anticipated names heading into next season. Braden Smith himself predicted West will be Purdue's leading scorer, and Coach Painter has compared him to former Boilermaker standout Carson Edwards for his playmaking ability. Purdue's incoming recruiting class ranks 7th nationally, headlined by 4-star point guard Luke Ertl, 4-star center Sinan Wan, 4-star shooting guard Jacob Weber, and 3-star forward Rivers Knight. As one era ends, another begins, but it's still always a great time to be a Boilermaker.
That's your Purdue basketball update.
Stay tuned as the next chapter of Boilermaker basketball starts to take shape.
Which do you think would be more difficult, running a race barefoot or biking 40 kilometers immediately after swimming 1.5 kilometers?
I would probably say biking 40 kilometers after swimming. I have asthma though, so I might be biased on that.
Well, Purdue student and triathlete Sydney Matthews did all 3 last weekend as the Purdue Triathlon team competed in their annual USAT Collegiate Club Nationals in Gulfport, Mississippi. Here's a closer look at how Purdue did, as well as some insight from Sydney Matthews herself. The Purdue Triathlon Club is made up of dedicated students who put in a lot of their time into this sport. A triathlon is a race that consists of 3 events, swimming, cycling, and running, that are all done immediately after one another. Purdue student and triathlete Sydney Matthews speaks about her experience, as well as how Purdue did at Nationals.
USA Triathlon and Clash Endurance, they always put on such a good event. We got 18th out of, I believe, 87 teams. We had one of our women get 3rd individually. It was all around a good weekend. I got some really bad blisters on my feet, and I ended up taking my shoes off and running barefoot, but it was a lot of fun. Going into the fall, we just want to really make sure we're racing our best and putting our best foot forward and representing Purdue as well as we can.
Well, it turns out running a race barefoot, it is actually pretty hardcore.
Absolutely. And also a special shout out to Emma Squires, the triathlete who is able to place 3rd individually. The team is done for the season, but they are ready to come back stronger in the fall.
On the pool and the platform, Purdue men's swimming and diving made a splash at the NCAA Championships in Atlanta, Georgia. Purdue's very own Zach Welsh opened the week with a top 10 finish on 1-meter diving, earning his first All-American honor. Max Miller followed with his 4th career All-American on 3-meter, while sophomore Evan McAsee set both a personal and program best in the pool during the 200 individual medley with a time of 1 minute 44 seconds, ranking 5th in team history. On the final day, Tyler Wills led the way on platform diving, securing silver and All-American honors with a score of 451.15. Nathaniel Granis and Holden Higbee also earned All-American recognition, and Caden Springfield added a top 20 finish, giving Purdue 4 of the top 20 divers on platform. The Boilermakers finished 29th in the team standings with 32 points, and 10 of their 11 NCAA qualifiers are expected to return next season.
From different countries to one common goal, Purdue women's soccer is turning international talent into team success. Our reporter, Michelle Wadarama, takes us inside the Boilermakers global roster and how that reach now extends to the professional level.
Here in West Lafayette, the Purdue women's soccer team isn't just building chemistry. They're blending cultures with players from all around the world. This roster brings a unique style and a proven path to the pros.
For some of these athletes, the journey to Purdue started thousands of miles from home. Each path different, but all leading to the same place.
Coming to Purdue, especially with a lot of internationals, it's a lot of people that you can relate to and help each other through it, that you're not alone, and in terms of not having family there every game, and we always have each other. It's we create our own little family away from home, which I think helps us a lot.
And that global pipeline is producing results. Cinderella, Chauvet, and Lexi Fraley are the latest Boilermakers to sign professional contracts, joining clubs in the US, Mexico, and Portugal. They are the 12th, 13th, and 14th players in program history to go pro, and part of a total of 31 players this coaching staff has helped send to the next level. Midfielder Irene Campos shares what the biggest adjustment for her has been playing in the Big Ten.
This style of play here, for example, I was in the Sun Bowl conference at South Alabama, and it wasn't as physical as I thought it was gonna be. The Big Ten is really physical, so sometimes more transitions, balls and stuff, and back home is just more technical, just play tactical, nothing crazy. So I would say that's one of the biggest adjustments.
Adjusting to a new country and style of play isn't easy, but it's shaping them both on and off the field. Angelina Torreson shares how having an international background influences the way they play.
Yeah, I think the background is just really taught both of us of being comfortable on the ball and liking the tight spaces and not want to play a European style rather than the classic college style.
From right across the globe to right here in Indiana, and now onto the professional stage. The Boilermakers are proving their game translates anywhere. Reporting for Fast Track Sports, I'm Michelle Wadarama.
The Boilermakers are set to play against Northwestern on April 11th, 2 p.m. at Folk Field here in West Lafayette. Admission is free to all.
And Purdue baseball is coming off of a pretty incredible weekend. Their bats were on fire as they faced Big Ten competitor Michigan State during their weekend series in East Lansing. The Black and Gold lost their first game in the series on Friday, but not without leaving an impression on both the Spartans and their fans. Brandon Rogers and Jackson Bissett were able to lay down 2 beautiful bunts in the same inning, giving them bases and free passes to advance, but the game ended 4-3 MSU. On Saturday, Boiler bats were hot as Avery Moore and CJ Richmond both hit grand slams in a power surge of 15 runs, ending with a final score of 16-13 Boilers. In Sunday's game, we saw Brandon Rogers hit the 3rd grand slam of the series, but it was his 2nd of the week, with that first one being from a midweek matchup against the University of Illinois Chicago. This named him Big Ten Player of the Week, and the Sunday game ended 11-4, once again to the Boilers. Since then, Purdue has taken on another midweek matchup against Indiana State and is preparing for the start of this weekend's series against the University of Illinois. First game of that series originally started tonight at 6, but has since been moved up to 2. And it's at Alexander Field. We'll have more on baseball soon.
Purdue softball hit the road for a 3-game Big Ten series at Michigan over the weekend. The Boilers would strike first on Friday. Mariah Poehler scored on a sacrifice fly from Delaney Reef to take an early lead, but Michigan answered with a grand slam, taking Game 1 9-1 in run rule fashion. But Saturday was a completely different story. Purdue's offense exploded with 15 hits and 4 players recording a 3-hit game. Reef hit a home run and the Boilers put up a 6-run 5th inning to come out on top with a 13-6 win, evening the 3-game series 1-1. Sunday brought more power from Purdue with home runs from Bella Douglas, Haley Painter, and another from Reef. But Michigan was able to respond at every turn, pulling away for a 13-5 win against the Boilers. Purdue won 1 of 3 in Ann Arbor, now sitting at 5-4 in Big Ten play. This past week, Purdue volleyball served up some amazing wins in their 2 spring games at home in Holloway Gymnasium.
That's right, Jared. The first game was against Illinois, where the Boilermakers won 3-1. Then they played a full 5-set game against Butler, also coming out on top 3-2. One huge advantage of the spring games is that it helps both the newcomers and players who were on the sidelines get a feel for the court, as well as learning to play with the veteran players before their fall games. One of these players, Addie Tyndall, is ecstatic to finally be a full member of the team after being a redshirt freshman.
It was hard at first, just knowing that you're coming from being on the sidelines to stepping into a new role, but it's been exciting, and I'm really grateful that I got to redshirt and then come in now.
And then how helpful are these spring games for your upcoming fall games?
Extremely helpful. We get to see the different lineups that we run, and just learning how to play with each other is a great experience before getting into the fall.
Purdue's next 2 games will be played at Center Grove High School against Vanderbilt on April 11th and at the Fishers Event Center against Indiana University on April 19th.
Purdue women's golf team took home their 2nd tournament win of the season at the Coach Mo Classic this week in Florida, beating out 15 other teams for the title. Sophomore Samantha Brown tied for 3rd in the individual leaderboard, marking the strongest performance of her career as a Boilermaker. Freshman Luana Valero also came out strong, ranking 2nd in par scoring and hitting 5 birdies on the final day of the tournament. This is the team's 2nd year in a row winning the Coach Mo Classic, making it the 17th event that the Boilermakers have won multiple times. Purdue women's golf will be back for the Boilermaker Spring Classic later this month, and then on to the Big Ten Championships at the end of April.
And turning to women's tennis, it was a weekend of close matches for the Boilermakers, but both ended just short of victory. On Friday, Purdue fell 4-2 against number 48 Nebraska. The Boilers made a late push with wins from Ida Clement and Emmy Kalishko, but their comeback came up just short. Sunday was even closer. Purdue pushed number 45 Iowa all the way to the final court, before falling 4-3 at home. The Boilers say despite the results, they're taking this week as a learning experience.
Just keeping our heads up and not taking this weekend as a negative thing, but as a positive thing. And we're learning and we're going to fight even harder and we're going to be more determined now. And so just, keeping that attitude throughout the rest of the season.
Purdue will look to bounce back next weekend as they travel to face Maryland and Rutgers University. Well, that's a wrap for sports this week.
But stay tuned, Fast Track will be back right after this quick timeout.
If I could describe Boilers Go DC in one word, I would say insightful. I've done a couple internships in DC, but this experience was different and opened my eyes into what other aspects of DC has to offer in networking and relationships as well.
If I could describe BGDC in one word, I would say eye-opening. I've been to DC a couple times before, but I have had nowhere close to an experience as immersive or as informative as the BGDC experience.
If you're interested in politics and you want to get into working in government, this is a good experience for you.
It was something I initially myself really wanted to do, but I know there were a lot of people that might be on more of the fence about it. And I truly think BGDC was worth every penny, every time I did a reflection. Absolutely worth it.
If I can describe BGDC in one word, it's life-changing.
What does it take to be a Purdue tour guide? You've got to know your history. You have to know your facts. You've got to have that Purdue spirit. And you have to walk backwards.
Folks, we are back with our question of the week.
Now that we officially have less than 1 month of classes left, Riley and I asked what classes Purdue students would miss and what classes they're happy to see end.
It'll be EDPS 212, just because we just, talk about like all the things that is necessary for special education and students with disabilities, since I'm in elementary education. EDCI 370, if you guys know, like for LED majors.
Not gonna lie, there's not really a class I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna be happy that I'm done with them all. It's data management database class. I'm not even sure the exact name of it is, but yeah, I'm happy to be done having class at 8:30.
Is PE. I'm taking a tennis class, and that's been such a really nice outlet. I am so glad to be done with any kind of physics. I also, as an engineer, just don't like physics.
I'm going to miss my Psych 392 class, which is Psychology of Trauma. Psych 272 and Intro to Industrial Organizational Psychology.
As the end of the school year draws near, Fast Track will continue to keep you updated on all things Purdue. That's all the news from campus we have for you this week.
Be sure to keep up with Fast Track on our social media pages and have a great weekend, Boilermakers.